What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new episode. Coach Joe here with Heartletics.com. And as we continue on with the top 5 best quotes, I figured let's have some fun with this one. And let's kind of share with you guys the top 5 quotes, at least in my opinion, when it comes down to Star Wars. Now, full disclaimer, me and my son Oakley, we are on a huge Star Wars kick. I got a Xbox and we play, Lego Star Wars. Sometimes I'll play like The Last Jedi, I think that's what it's called, or The Fallen Jedi. I got like Star Wars Battlefront, 2. So we're all about Star Wars. We'll put on Disney, watch the different old school movies, even the new ones, right? They got the little animated ones that Oakley really likes, enjoys. Star Wars is great, right? I grew up, watching Star Wars, and remember way back in the day, playing some of these games on like PlayStation 2 and whatnot, way back in the day, Everybody knows Star Wars. But regardless, the 5 quotes that I want to get into, I want to kind of continue on with the segments and kind of like the leadway, so much so that we've been kind of talking about in terms of the mindset, in terms of trust, faith, belief, everything like that. Now, granted, there's tons of amazing quotes, right, inside Star Wars, but in my opinion, these top 5 are, the ones that really can help out somebody. And you really have to pick up what I'm putting down and kind of see through the lens, and so much so with this episode. With that being said, let's dive right in. So number 5 comes from Darth Vader himself, and he says, "I find your lack of faith disturbing." And I love that. Like, as a parent, how many times have maybe, you wanted your kids to do something and the outcome, right? Like it's not going to hurt them or whatever the case may be. And this could be something so small, right? Like jump into the pool, for example, or something like that, right? Fill in the blank. Have fun with it. But regardless, when you realize they're scared, timid, right? They're maybe afraid to jump in the pool or whatever the case may be, right? I'm sure there's a little bit of like, come on, dude, you got this, right? This isn't rocket science. This isn't hard. Come on, you got this. Like, as soon as you do it once, you're going to fall in love with it. You're going to do it all over again, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I just love this with Darth Vader saying that, I find your lack of faith disturbing. How many times as us as adults, like, it might not be jumping into a pool. It might be something else, but yet we have such a lack of faith. And there might be somebody or something on the other side where we know, hey, like we can get there, maybe to our goals, but we keep on getting stuck, right? Maybe at this comfort zone, so to speak, right? And the lack of faith to get over the hump and get over the comfort zone, it's probably discouraging and disturbing, honestly, from somebody that maybe is already on the other side. Somebody that says, hey, listen, man, like keep on going, like you got this, stop quitting. Stop throwing in the white towel. Stop giving up. Continue. Let's go. And so at times it can be disturbing, honestly, when there is little faith that we have as adults to pursue what we want. This brings us to our 4th quote, which is only different in your mind. You must unlearn what you have learned, right? And so basically, Luke is saying, hey, I can't lift this up. I can't use the Force. It's too heavy. It's stuck underneath the swamp water, right? It's too big. I can't do this. And basically what Yoda was telling him in this quote was, the only thing that's different about this situation is that it's in your mind. And he said, you must unlearn what you have already learned. And maybe so much so is that we kind of put this barrier in our own minds, meaning like, hey, this situation, right? Maybe it's losing weight or, having more money or going after a business adventure, whatever the case may be. We put all these scenarios in our head. I always say it like this. Life is literally, 10% of what happens to you, but 90% how you react to it. So in your own head, you could be playing tricks on yourself, making the situation a lot harder than what it actually is. And this is exactly what happened with Luke. He put in his head these self-limiting beliefs. Hey, even though I can use the Force and get my lightsaber back to me, I can't lift up a plane that's stuck underneath swamp water. It's too hard. It's too big. And so Yoda had to remind him, like, The only thing that's different about this situation is that it's in your head. You must first unlearn what you have already learned. So that's the fourth quote. The third one, and I love this. I love all these ones, right? Just being honest. Yoda says, do or do not. There is no try. Let me repeat that. Do or do not. There is no try. And somebody can listen to that quote and take it for what it is and kind of put a little twist on it and a little spin. How I see it, how I perceive it as, it's like, hey, we're going all in. There is no try. We're going all in. Do or do not, right? Actions speak louder than words. And as a man, I'm a firm believer that is how you do one thing is how you do everything. So it's like, show up. And when things don't go your way, hey, put on your big boy pants and continue to push through. It's not supposed to go our way every single area in our life. Like, you're going to look back and you're going to say, I'm really glad for some of those hardships. I'm really glad for some of those trials. I'm really glad for the opportunities that made it harder and more challenging for me to have success. But because of those opportunities, because of those challenges, because of that, adversity, I'm stronger because of it. So just let that sink in. Remember, do or do not. There is no try. The second quote that I absolutely love, right? And this is where, it comes to a point where after Luke gets really upset because he's not able to, get that plane out of the swamp water, he goes off and cries me a river. And Yoda just stands there all calm, chill, and just does his thing, right? Uses his Jedi, power, uses his force, and, gets the plane right out. And, Luke's jumping for joy, and he says, all these like, oh man, this is awesome, etc., etc. He's talking about like how big the plane is, etc. And Yoda replies back to him and he says, size doesn't matter. Quote number 2, size does not matter. And I really want you guys to think about that. Not just in terms of how big an individual is, right? Like, let's say if they have more muscular or if they're more athletic, whatever the case may be. But it's the size of the heart. And that's what I really want you guys to think about. It's the size of the heart. Not necessarily about the outer experience, right? The outer shell, right? Your body, but more so about the size of your heart. And with Yoda, getting this plane using the force out of the swamp water, it wasn't about his muscles. It wasn't about some creative force thing, whatever he had. It was the belief. It was the faith that he had in his own heart. Size matters not. And lastly, number 1 quote from Star Wars, in my opinion at least, is, and this is like the ultimate mic drop, in my opinion. Like when I watch this, with Oakley, I'm like, oh man, that's fire. Whoever the creative writers are for creating the script, they should have got a raise for that part. Because I love this. And this is where Luke, he's all jumping for joy because Yoda got the plane out of the swamp water. He runs up to Yoda. He says, hey, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. And you know what Yoda's reply back to him was? Quote, end quote, top quote ever from Star Wars, in my opinion. That is why you fail. Just think about that. Like, Luke was not able to use the Force to get the plane out of the swamp water. He goes, cries me a river, right? And eventually Yoda's able to get it out. Luke comes running back and says, oh, I don't believe it. And Yoda's reply back to him was, that's why you fail. Because Luke didn't believe it. And the reason why this is number 1, this quote, is because how many times do you put, these self-limiting beliefs on going after your goals? Oh, I can't do this, or I don't believe this is possible. I don't believe this, and I never was able to lose X amount of weight. I was never able to get off my medications. I've been overweight my whole entire life. And you just tell yourself these self-limiting beliefs over and over and over again, where it becomes your paradigm. Like, that is your firm belief system. And you got to learn how to break that. You really do. You got to learn how to have trust. You got to learn how to have faith. You got to learn how to believe in yourself. Because when you truly believe in yourself, there is no failing. Hands down. I go over mindset all the time within our coaching program to really help our members understand, like, hey, You got to learn how to control your emotions. You got to learn how to believe yourself. You got to learn that, internal state of confidence. You need it. Because if you don't have that, you're missing out. Especially as a guy in today's society, you need that confidence, right? You need to have that belief system. You need to have with a pure understanding and unshakable confidence that, hey, I'm going to do this. It's like the Roger Bannister story of, the man that competed in the 4-minute mile and was the first person ever. Before then, doctors thought it was impossible. The human heart would explode. He was able to do it. Since he was able to do it, hundreds of people are able to complete it now. And it's simply because he broke the self-limiting beliefs. So my call to action is for you to kind of think about this. What are the self-limiting beliefs that's holding you back? Honestly. Like, do you believe you're not worthy enough? Do you believe you're not deserving enough? Do you believe it has to be hard, right, to maybe reach your goals? Because at the end of the day, like, that's just your belief system. And whatever your belief system is, that's what your reality is. So think about that. If you change your belief system and understanding like, hey, I can lose weight. Hey, I can get off my meds. Hey, I can reach my goals. Hey, I can have a new job. Hey, I can start my own business and stop with the self-limiting beliefs. I bet you anything, right? More doors, more opportunities are going to open up in your life. So let me know, like, what's stopping you? What is the same old song and dance that you continue to tell yourself on repeat when it comes to your own self-limiting beliefs? Let me know. I'm interested about that one. I mean, we all have them as we progress, right? We all have these self-limiting beliefs, but I think it's about expressing them and just putting them out there to say, hey, listen, at the end of the day, like, this might have been a self-limiting belief, but it doesn't have to be the reality anymore. And I'm going to do whatever I can to have full faith, full trust, right? Taking action, getting one step closer to make sure that, hey, this is not a belief anymore. And that is the tenacity we all need. That is the spirit that we all need within inside of us. That's the dog. That's the warrior. That's the fight. So hopefully you guys got some value from today's episode. If you did, definitely go share this with a friend, family member, maybe on your social media. Or hey, no, who knows, right? Maybe somebody likes Star Wars out there. You just want to send them this, But regardless, these were the top 5, quotes from Star Wars. Once again, in at least my opinion, and hopefully you guys got some value from this. In terms of like, don't give up, have faith, have trust. Believe in yourself. It's possible. Regardless of your goals, it's possible. So guys, as always, this has been Coach Joe with the Heartletics Podcast, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Peace out, Girl Scouts.